Before conquest, before fire, before the name of empire was carved into its shores, there was Ophir, a golden kingdom at the southeastern edge of the known world, a land of deep jungles, sacred rivers, and mountains heavy with gold, jewels, and the bounty of heaven. In ancient legend, it was Ophir that filled the coffers of kings. It was Ophir that sent gold across the seas to adorn the throne of King Solomon. But Ophir was never rich by gold alone. Its people lived in harmony with the land, and the land with its gods. In village shrines, in forest clearings, in river stones and old wooden idols, the divine moved close to the mortal world. The Ophirans did not see themselves as owners of the land, but as part of its sacred balance. Their offerings fed the unseen, and in return, the gods nourished the soil, guarded the villages, blessed the harvests, and kept the spiritual order of the world intact. Abundance was not merely wealth, it was harmony. But even before the invaders came, Ophir was no paradise untouched by darkness. The islands were ancient, and in ancient places, old hungers endured. Beneath blood moons, monsters still descended from the dark, creatures born of curse, spirit, and fear. Yet even these horrors existed within a world still governed by sacred law. That law would soon be broken. For the legend of Ophir's wealth did not remain buried in the east. Across the western seas, the kingdoms of Europa heard whispers of a golden land beyond the horizon. And in another reality, that land would one day be conquered in the 1500s, renamed for a foreign king, and remembered as Las Islas Filipinas. But this is not that reality. Here, the Middle Ages did not collapse into cultural ruin. The old world sharpened itself instead. And so the age of discovery came early. By the early 1400s, the sails of empire were already moving, and the first to reach Ophir were the Hispanians. They did not come as guests, they came as claimants. With steel, scripture, and fire, the Hispanian Armada declared Ophir an extension of the Hispanian Holy Empire. Its lands would belong to the crown, its souls would belong to the one true God. Temples burned on the shores, shrines were torn down, the old names of the gods were condemned as blasphemy, and what began as landing became invasion. From the storm and surf stepped one of the first instruments of that holy conquest, Inquisitor Ignatius, fanatic, executioner, missionary of annihilation. Ignatius did not arrive to understand Ophir. He arrived to break it. He led the first guerrilla wave of the Hispanian advance, securing footholds, terrorizing settlements, and preparing the islands for full occupation. Where he walked, conversion came by force, and where conversion failed, extermination followed. Under jungle canopies and inside sacred clearings, conquistadors desecrated shrines that had stood for generations. Wooden idols were fed to pyres. Clay gods were smashed into mud. Babaylan and keepers of the old rites were bound, silenced, or put to death. To the invaders, this was purification. To Ophir, it was spiritual butchery, because the destruction of the idols was not symbolic. The gods were real, and they were dying. The holy soldiers of Hispalia marched with the certainty of men who believed heaven itself sanctioned their violence. Each burned village was called salvation, each massacre righteousness, each severed root of native faith, a victory for divine order. But on another plane of existence, a far greater war had already begun. Beyond the mortal world existed Ophir's metaphysical plane, the unseen dominion of its celestial beings, spirits, and native gods. Among them were the stelliferous gods, radiant ancient entities of the greater cosmic race from which many native gods emerged as part of their life cycle. They were not distant myths, they were the hidden architecture of Ophir's living harmony. They sustained the sacred ecosystem that bound land, people, and divinity together. And then the heavens were invaded. As Hispalia claimed Ophir in the physical world, the dominion of the one true God breached the metaphysical one. From beyond descended corrupted angelic armies, apocalyptic hosts of conquest, purity, and extermination. They did not come to convert, they came to erase. The stelliferous gods were hunted across the celestial expanse. Some were annihilated outright. Some fled into the corporeal world, hiding among forests, mountains, rivers, and ruined shrines. Others vanished into secrecy, waiting for an age that might never come. This was not merely war. It was an extinction event. Above Ophir's golden kingdoms and blood-soaked shores, heaven itself became a battlefield. Angels and native divinities clashed over the fate of the land below, and as the gods of Ophir fell, so too did the balance they had once kept.